Hi everyone, welcome to the Wise Parent series. My name is Bernice. I'm the founder of the Earth School and I'm a coach for homeschooling families. Today I want to speak a bit about toddlers and how to organize ourselves when we have babies at home because it's kind of complicated for some parents at the moment, and I got a couple of messages about that, like how do I homeschool when I have a toddler running around? Okay, let's see that. So first, I would like to put a few words about the child development and the stages that babies go through from 12 months on. Before that, mostly they don't really walk, so you're safe. From about 12 months to 18 months, they're in their explorer time. So that's not easy for parents, for sure, but that's what children need to do at that moment. At the moment they learn to walk, what they need to do is walk, walk, and walk, and walk. That's what their genetics tells them. It's not like they want to. It's stronger than them. They have to practice it. So they have to explore and walk and explore. And that makes them very curious, which is great. And also, this time they learn by trial and error. So they're gonna try something and find out if it works or not, and remember it for next time. This is how they learn and how they solve problems at this age. From 18 months to 24 months, until 2 years old, they their brain kind of go to another stage where they can visualize, which means that they won't need to try physically to find out the solution to a problem. Let's say, those little square blocks that you put in the square holes. Before that they have to try and see. After that they can look at both and be, it might fit or it might not fit. So this is a big change. That's great. That means that, they don't have to try everything out. It's good for you. And also, they start to pretend. That they start to play and pretend. Like, let's pretend I'm a pirate. Let's pretend you're my baby. And this kind of games. It's very important for their development to do that. So just let them play. Whatever they say. Don't make fun of them, even if it's funny sometimes. And also, they have the permanence of the object. I don't know if you heard about that. It's a big Piaget thing. It means that when they don't see something, they can still understand that it still exists. Like before that, like a child who's about, I don't know, maybe 1 year old, and you hide a key in your hand, he will maybe know that the key is in your hand. But if then you put the hand behind the cushion and let go of the key and hide again the hand like that, close your fist, your child will look for the key in your fist. But from 18 months on, something like that, he's going to realize that if you move the hand with the key moved with the hand. You're like, why is that important? Well, it's important because it means that they start to understand time and space. And most importantly, they understand now that if you leave, you will come back. Because they don't need to see you to know that you exist. So this is a very relaxing time for moms. Like, they don't have their child always worried that they will never come back. Okay, and then from 2 to 6, which is about the next mental development, mind development, brain, whatever you call it, development stage, children mostly learn about symbols, like to use numbers or images or words. That's when they kind of start to organize the world. Let's say that they understand that a chair is a chair, whatever, if it's a big chair, a small chair, a wooden chair, a metal chair. And also they understand numbers more, like that 1 is 1 object, that 2 is 2 objects. They start to understand symbols. Before that they don't, so don't bother. Also they start to understand numbers quite soon, but let's say around 4, they can understand until about 20. So that's just to give you an idea, so that you don't like overwork your children, like ask too much of them. Let's say that around 4 they get it until 20, so they can count to 20, and it's not only counting like knowing numbers, it's counting and knowing what it means, what 3 means. 3 means there are 3 objects, like 3 sheep or 3 whatever. So that was just a little introduction, so that you have a very superficial idea, but still an idea of how your child's brain works. Because babies and children's mind doesn't work like ours. It's not like it works like us but less efficiently, or like us but less well, or like us but they understand less. It's different. So it's not like if you speak with your logic but more slowly, like they were dumb, they will not understand better. Okay, they just don't get your logic. Forget logic. No logic. Okay, good. This being said, toddlers at home. I would say that the most number one, very number one important rule is the environment. I will try not to say that word too often. It's not easy for me to say either. Why is it important? Because actually babies, they start to walk, the toddlers, and they start to go around and touch everything and put everything into their mouth and climb and do whatever drives us crazy. But remember that they do it for their development, okay? They cannot not do it, okay? Be kind, and remember that it's for them, that's what they need to become adults. So you cannot like stop them to do it. What you can do is anticipate and prevent, because this is gonna save you a lot of energy and a lot of no. Sorry. One of the problems with the no is that if it comes too often, it doesn't work anymore. So environment, what can you do? The idea is if you make the house ready for your child, if you think about it carefully and you make it correctly, you plan it, then you will have much less occasions to interrupt your child, to have to jump in and be like, no, this is dangerous, don't put that in your mouth, and don't touch that, don't climb the stairs. So let's see how you can do that. Obviously, the first place you want to work on is the child's room, the baby's room, since that's his area. So until he can walk, what you can have is a small rug or a mattress, something comfy for him to lay down and play. And next to it, put like a little cupboard, shelves, with nice objects, colorful, that he can grab. If he can sit, that he can grab and play with. That's going to be his kind of little play area. And if it's nice, and that the toys and the little books and whatever you leave for him is neat and clear and colorful, I mean, it has to look beautiful, okay? Children, they're very sensitive to aesthetic. If you put all the toys in a box and put the box in the room, the kid, your child, he won't want to play with it. So you just make a choice, don't put all the toys, just choose a few, put them in a nice shelf that he can reach, and a few books that he can reach too. And that's going to be his little corner for playing. And after a few weeks, you can change the toys. Don't change them too often so that he can, create habits and rituals, but change them also often enough so that he doesn't get bored. If you can see that he doesn't play with his toys anymore, means it's maybe time for a change. So all those toys he has in his room, just hide them into a box and take some at the time out, because he will enjoy them much more like that. And once he can walk, you can remove the little rug and put a table and a chair, because then he can sit and have his little sitting area to play. As for the toys and the books, it stays the same idea. You keep it clear, clean, neat, beautiful, and not too how you say that? Not too crowded? Yeah? Well, not too stuffed out, okay? Just make space into it. And you can still have the rug in somewhere in the room, or a thin carpet to make a place, let's say, to play with Legos and little things. And it's nice for the child to have different areas. Maybe the reading area with a cushion, and play with little toys area with a rug, and work with the pencil and paper area with a little table. You will see that if you go through your child's toddler's room and you look around and you're like, okay, let's remove at least 2/3 of the mess, and let's create nice areas for him to play, and let's clean up all day long. It's not like, let's not don't wait for the evening to clean up the room before sleeping. Just make sure that all day long it's nice, so that the child feels like pulled, like he wants to go there and play there. If the room is nice and he has nice areas and nice toys that he feels he wants to play with, and not one box full of crap, and when you turn it over, at the bottom you have like arms, plastic arms, and little piece of paper and a couple of marbles that are still there, like broken toys. No, make it nice, and your child will spend much more time in his room, which is good for you, because then you have some time to do something else, like homeschooling the others. So that was the room. Now, the other parts of the house. We'll try to go a bit faster over the other parts, because I could speak about that for the whole day, I guess. So the kitchen. Kitchen is like the area of the house where everything happens, right? That's where you have the most life. That's where you cook, where you gather. So this is an important room for your toddler, because he wants to be part of it. Babies, they don't like to be left apart. They hate it. The more you try to get it away, the more he's going to come back. So let's make it easy for him to be a part of it. It's going to take you a few hours to make it nice for him, and then it's going to save you like hours and hours and hours of struggling to keep him out. You won't have to keep him out anymore. So kitchen. And try to have a step stool for him, so that he can climb and see what's happening. It's so frustrating. Can you imagine it? If the kitchen was getting there, the furniture for you, and that a lot of things happens. You hear the noise like, and you can smell the things, and you can see everybody, like big brothers and siblings, coming and looking and being like, wow, it looks good. And you're just like, you see nothing. It's not cool. So think about that, and try to find a step stool for your child, so he can climb and have a look around, and he can go around with this little step stool. I hope you say a step stool. I hope you see what I mean. Like something you step on to get taller, like the one you would use to wash your hands in the bathroom for toddlers. I'm sure you know what I mean. And so you put that in the kitchen, and you let him walk around with him, because children, when they start to walk, they also really much like to carry stuff around. It's very good for them to practice balance and everything. So it's cool. It's 2 in 1, like 2 birds with one stone. One stone. I think you said that in English, right? 2 birds with one stone. It's a horrible expression. Gosh. So step stool. And also let him be part of it. He can start cooking very early. I would say around 18 months, you can have a little knife with the round edge. That's the important part, okay? He can have a knife. If he cuts his finger, which I have never seen happen in all the kids I've seen cooking, but who knows? But then he cannot, put it into his eyes or his heart or something. So find a nice round knife, but that's one that's cutting well, because otherwise it doesn't work. And let him cut. Maybe he can start by cutting bananas. That's easy to cut. Maybe don't start with carrots and onions, right? Be sensible. Cucumber, bananas, tomatoes are not easy. Well, you know what is easy to cut. So give them the easy ones. And also you can put the salt in the dish, or the cube of flavor thing, or he can go around and go into the stew with the spoon. There are many things that he can actually do if you let him do it, and you're not always worried. You can also have him in his high chair next to you, so that he can see what's going on. A lot of kids don't really like to stay in there. Maybe if you give him something to cut and some stuff to do, he might like it better. Also, one thing about the kitchen is, if your kids, like I told you, they like to walk and carry things. So as soon as they're stable walking around, like they walk with confidence, you can give them a little tray, and they can bring the knives and the spoons and the forks on the table. Maybe not your grandma's china first, but already the cutlery, he can do that. And the best thing for that is, and I used to do it when my kids were small, and it's really nice, is to have a drawer very close to the floor where you put the cutleries and maybe some plates and some glasses, and that's where he can go and grab things to put the table and set the table. They're very able, and he's gonna love that. And imagine all the time it's gonna take your toddler to bring enough knives and forks and spoons for the whole families, and maybe the napkins. And that's a lot of coming and going, and with his little tray. And that's all the time. He's not bothering you. He's not in your feet. He's not like pulling at your skirt and being like, Mama, Mama, I'm so bored. So give him some job to do. And he's gonna like that. After the lunch, he can bring back the stuff with his tray to the dishwasher, or to the kitchen if you don't have a dishwasher. And he can also mop the table. I mean, he can do a lot of things kitchen-wise. So just try to think how you can organize the kitchen so he can be a part of it. And then he's going to become more and more autonomous and independent in doing his little chores. And that's going to save you so much free time. I mean, that's going to earn you so much free time, right? Otherwise, there is also the bathroom. Well, if you do have a stool there too, so he can wash his hands, brush his teeth, brush his hair, make it like he can grab his stuff, okay? If he cannot grab his hairbrush, well, he cannot brush his hair. And it's not just for girls. I have two sons, but one doesn't brush his hair. But the small one is kind of like, he's very mindful of himself. So he likes to have his little comb, and he would put water and comb his hair. He loves that. So try to have a drawer also with your toddler stuff at his range. I mean, so frustrating that he can never grab his stuff, right? You want him to be independent, so let him do it. I mean, if he has to ask you every time he needs something because it's out of reach, he's never gonna learn to do it by himself. As for the bathroom, he can also learn to take a shower by himself. I mean, from the age 2, a child is able to take a shower by himself. You might have to open the water if you have the two sides, or if you don't want him to get burned. In my shower, I have a stopper, so it cannot go warmer than 38 degrees, but not all showers have that. So of course you stay there, but he can, take the soap, wash himself. It's very important for your child's dignity that he learns to take care of himself by himself. It's his body, and he wants to know how to take care of it. So brushing the teeth, brushing the hair, taking a shower, or being alone in the bath can be done from around 3 if you leave the door open and you keep an ear out. But give your child more autonomy, and you will see that very early, very, very quickly we pick it up, especially if you keep rituals, okay? Children, they learn much better if things are ritualized. So let's say that you cook always around the same time, or actually it doesn't read the time, so that doesn't really matter. But what matters is that you keep following sequences. Like when you start cooking, maybe first you go to the fridge with him and be like, what do we have today? And speak about the menu. Children like to be part of their life. So you can just tell them what's going to be the menu, how you're going to cook it. You can explain what you do. So, they learn cooking and they get interested. And there is a much better chance they're going to eat what you cook if they know what's going on and if they are a part of it. So it's like, again, 2 birds with 1 stone. God, that's the day for that. So let them be a part of the ritual, try to think about a ritual. I know it's a bit weird. We are used to just go in the kitchen, quickly fix a lunch, and get rid with it. But if you implement rituals and kind of how would you call it? Yeah, I would say sequences in your daily routine. Your child will know when he can be a part of it, when he can do what. Like, oh, mommy's starting cooking, so I can start to set the table with my little tray. And the more you're ritualized, the more your child will know what to do and when, and the less he will ask you for things, and the less you will have to tell him things. That's great, no? Doesn't sound good? I think it sounds good. Actually, I love it. It works very well. I've done it, I can tell you. And I've seen my friends doing it. It works. Try it. To put the energy, to organize the environment, and to think your routine so that your child can be a part of it. And you will see that you have much less energy to spend into taking care of your toddler. About that, another thing I wanted to say was the daily chores. He can also be part of that, like mopping, sweeping, the laundry. Oh, toddlers, they love laundry. They love to carry the big basket. I told you, they need to prove their strengths. It's a very important part of their development. So let them carry the basket and let them stuff the stuff in the laundry machine and press the button if you're here and you agree with that. I mean, that's the kind of things that use your child's energy too, because toddlers need to walk. So make him walk around, make him walk and walk and walk. Find him missions, but not stupid missions like he's not a dog, he's gonna throw a ball and he's gonna bring it back, okay? I mean, he's too smart for that. It has to be something real, like he feels he's doing something. Children love real things. Okay, is there something else I wanted to tell you? Let me think. About the meals, maybe. Yeah, it's important that the meals, for the meals that your toddler is part of it. If you want him to eat earlier than the family, because, I don't know, that's your habit, I would always have everybody eat together, but maybe your husband comes home late, or, I mean, we all have little life obligations, right? So if your toddler eats before the others, it's still nice to let him come to the table when the others eat so that he can be part of the meal. And a meal is like a window to the world, That's where he can taste things and maybe you're going to try new plates and speak about where it comes from, or I don't know. But meals is a very community and family and bonding thing. So this is something you should do together every time you can. And your toddler should be part of it. And when I say part of it, I mean not in his high chair kind of behind you, but have a real place at the table, like not squeezed, or, a real place, like he's part of the family. And have real cutlery, like metal ones. I mean, children, they don't really like the plastic stuff, They like to feel like adults, like their siblings, and like real people we trust. And we trust them with real cutlery and with a real glass. Not like this plastic thing with 3 little holes. I mean, they don't need that. They can grab a glass and drink. They're totally able to do that. And if they let go of the glass and there is water everywhere, well, it's water. Because anyway, children should drink water when they eat, no? Nothing sweet. Water is fine. Doesn't make anything dirty. It's fine. Water. Glass of water, real glass. And real cutlery and a real plate, not a plastic one. If everybody has china, then your toddler could have china too. Again, it's about the real thing, right? I mean, try to be in his shoes for a few seconds and feel like, how would it feel like? Let's say you become old. You're grandma and you live with your children, and they're like, oh no, grandma, she's kind of shaky now, so let's give her a plastic spoon and a plastic plate. You wouldn't really like that, will you? Right. Okay, so that was about the meal. And one last thing I wanted to say maybe today was about how you can still say no and have some authority over your child without being without it being a control, power, unhealthy thing. You see what I mean? I mean, if you yell and your child does what you say because you yell at him, it doesn't mean he does it because he understood what you asked. It means he did it first because, well, you yelled and he was scared that you would not love him anymore. I know it's terrible, but that's very true. And he did it also because then, he would stop yelling, and then he knows that if he does what you say, he can stop having the yelling in his ears. So that's good. And then you proved to him and to you that you're the one with the power. But I mean, this is not really cooperation, and it's not a very healthy way to get your child to do what you want. So I would say this is like authoritarian parents, and we are more looking for something more authority, but with respect. Children, they like to obey. They like when we are pleased. And usually if they don't do as we ask, there is a reason. For toddlers, it can be that he has physical developmental needs, like walking, like exploring, touching, tasting. That's part of his development, and his brain, his guts, his instinct is constantly asking him to do that. So he cannot stop doing it. And if you just spend the day being like, no, 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 don't touch that, don't do that, no, no, no. He's not listening anymore. He's like, yeah, no, whatever. He doesn't know no about what, no what, So if the environment is ready for him, like you planned it, then you don't have to say no all the time. Like whatever he can touch, living at his range, and whatever he cannot touch, put it out. I mean, he's not that tall, right? I mean, it's like what, a toddler? How big is a toddler? I don't know. 3 feet? I mean, you have plenty of room in your house to put everything up, right? So try to understand that when your child is doing something, there might be a need behind it. And if you observe your child, you might understand what's the need because he's not able to tell you. So if you understand what's the need, maybe you can find a way to answer to the need that agrees with you, right? If you don't like the way he does it. But if you keep him busy and part of the daily life, you will see that actually, if you give him responsibilities, you will see that most of his needs are answered for. Because what he needs is to be active and to practice his motor control, his fine motor skills. And if you give him a chance to do that, then he won't have to find opportunities of his own, on his own. I'm gonna get there. Give me 10 more videos and I'm gonna have an American accent. Or English, let me choose. All right, so about that. So yeah, if your child does something that you feel like saying no, before saying no, try to understand what's the need. And then try to ask yourself if this is really important or not. I mean, how many times during the day do we say no to our children, but actually it didn't matter and you could have just let go of it, so that there aren't 2,000 no in a day. Let's say, I don't know, your daughter didn't put on her little flippers, like, how you call that? Her home shoes, the shoes you put inside, She didn't put them on and she's going around in her socks. Is that really important to you? If it is important to you, for whatever reason, then you apply the rule that your child knows about, the rule being you have to wear your, I think it's flippers, inside the house. And then you don't let go, you stay there. The moment you decide that it's a yes, it's important, you don't let go. You stick to your rule. If you realize it's not that important, then let it go. Let it go. And save yourself some energy, some trouble. And also, it helps your child to realize that not everything is the same importance. Like, like jumping on your baby brother is worse than not wearing your slippers, right? But if you react with the same intensity, the same now, like exhausted, tired, frustrated. No, for both situations, your child doesn't get that one is more important than the other. But obviously, there is quite a difference, right? You cannot put the fish in the toaster. This is a big no. Like you're allowed to shout, yell, and whatever. But like spilling some water from the glass, is that really a problem? I mean, yeah. So try to, take that habit for the next few days. Look at your toddler, and every time you feel like saying no, ask yourself, is it important or not? Is there a need there that I didn't answer? And sorry, there are only two, but they're good. So keep to those two already. Oh no, I know. The third one was to anticipate. Yeah, like I said, make the environment ready and anticipate the situations. Like observe your child. If you can tell that he's always doing the same thing that's bothering you, try to make it so that he cannot do it anymore. Do I make any sense? I understand myself, which is good. What I mean is, I don't know if your child always like to take that china vase and wants to remove it, and he wants to put stuff into it, and you like it and you don't want him to touch it, and every day you're like, don't touch that thing. Well, just put it somewhere else. Prevent and anticipate. That's very important with toddlers. So I'll go over quickly everything I told you, which is organize the environment so that your toddler can actually do what he needs for his development, and do it in his room, in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bathroom, everywhere he goes. Prepare the environment, make sure everything is at his reach, and then you will see that already your life is much easier. That's number one, environment. Number two is cooperation. Make your toddler part of the daily life of your house. For the cooking, for the cleaning up, for the laundry, for the tidying, for the gardening if you have a garden, or, whatever you have to do. Instead of being like, oh no, I have to quickly do that, and then I'll have time to do something else. Like, oh, I have to quickly wash the bathroom, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, and we always have to be quick. Instead of doing quick, do it calmly, but with your child. So that you clean up the bathroom, it may take twice the time you would have done it, but he did clean it with you. So he learned to develop his body and use his energy. He learned how to clean someplace. He learns responsibilities. And he gets a lot of self-esteem from the fact that you trust him for a real thing. So this is very important. Prepare the environment, incorporate your toddler into your daily life, and take some distance from what's happening before reacting. Okay, so I guess that's my 3 tips today for how to homeschool and be stuck in a house with toddlers and maybe older siblings or not. But if you have older siblings, I'm sure they're gonna be very happy that they have also a bit less of their little brothers and sisters on their back, right? So I wish you good luck with that. I will put some in the description. You will find, obviously, like usual, some workbooks and some cheat sheets or checklists or whatever you might need to implement those things. You will also find a link to my website, theearthschool.ch. That stands for Switzerland. CH. It's Latin for Confederatio Helvetia. Yeah. So you learned something very useful today. And you find everything you need down there. Just go visit. And if you're not part yet of the Facebook group, The Wise Parent, please come and join. It's a very nice, supportive community, and you will have more tips there. You will be able to share what you implemented so you can give us more tips, maybe more ideas, the way you do it, pictures, whatever, videos of your child setting the table, whatever you feel like sharing. It's a private group, so it's just for the members. And the members are homeschooling families just like you. Okay, great. So I wish you all a beautiful weekend or a beautiful week, and whatever the time you watch this video. And see you soon in the next video. Bye!